I'm going to be telling you guys which nightclub is the best in the newly added After Hours update. Now, if you guys want to stay tuned for all the videos I'm doing on this DLC, be sure to subscribe and also ring that notification bell. YouTube rarely works, so ringing that bell is the best way to know whenever I upload a video. But anyways, we're going to be talking about what nightclub is the best, because you might be overwhelmed at first in terms of which one to decide, and there's a lot of different options that go along with making that choice as well. So let's jump into it and let's get it started. First and foremost, you're going to find all the nightclubs available on the Maze Bank foreclosure site. If you're having trouble picking out the nightclubs, I would recommend filtering nightclubs out only. And there are 10 locations. Now, all of them are scattered within the city limits. Some of them are as high as Eclipse Boulevard, and they go as low as the Elysian Island docks. So it gives you a good idea of the variety in terms of locations you're getting. Now, as far as prices go, the most expensive one without any upgrades is $1.7 million. That's the West Vinewood nightclub. And the least expensive one is the one all the way down at the bottom, the Elysian Island nightclub. But there are locations in downtown Vinewood, in West Vinewood, Vespucci Canals, Strawberry, Mission Row, La Mesa, Cypress Flats, LSIA, as I mentioned earlier, Elysian Islands, Del Perro. They're all over the place. Now, let me talk to you guys about two nightclub locations that I think you should not buy based off of their prices alone and nothing else. And that would be the most expensive nightclub, which is going to be the West Vinewood nightclub, and the least expensive one, the Elysian Island nightclub. Now, the reason you should not buy this is because there will be a handful of people that do not understand that this $1.75 million price tag is for location alone. Nothing else about $1.7 million makes it better than any of the other nightclubs. So because of that, you're going to have a lot of people buying this location thinking that it is better in some way, shape, or form when it is not. Now, on the opposite spectrum of that, you're going to have people wanting to save a lot of money. They're going to be penny pinching in any way they can, and so they're going to be buying the cheapest nightclub. And so a lot of people are going to be at that one. You want to avoid these two at all costs. Stick to the ones in the middle. Now, other than price, the only difference between all of the nightclubs, aside from some slight cosmetic things like what building you're in or what street you're on, is location. That is the only difference. So for me, I have two nightclubs that I think are the best. The first one that I think is the best is the Del Perro nightclub. I actually bought this on my live stream earlier. The reason I like this is because it's not too terribly expensive. For me, it's in a pretty good location, surrounded by clothing stores, a Los Santos custom shop, a gun shop. My CEO office is really close. I've also got the beach, which is great for calling in Pegasus vehicles. It's really close to the highway, so it had lots of advantageous opportunities. And because it wasn't the cheapest or the most expensive, not a lot of people bought this one. It's also right next to Bahama Mamas, which is kind of a cool perk. And speaking of that, the other nightclubs in the game, the brand ones like Bahama Mamas, Tequila La, Cockatoos, they're not open. Rockstar just completely ignored those, like they don't even exist. So those are not options either, in case you are wondering. After that, my second favorite location is the downtown Vinewood Club. It's right next to the most expensive one, so you still get that really nice location, but not a lot of people are going to buy it because they're going to go for the one that's a little bit more expensive. This one's great too because it's in an awesome location towards the top of the city, which is going to be near your existing businesses, probably a lot of your apartments. It has great highway access, and it's next to the casino, where a lot of Pegasus vehicles can be spawned in too. So those right there are my top two locations for the nightclubs. Again, your price really not going to vary all that much, maybe a couple $100,000, but the locations are going to avoid the mass majority of players, and it's also going to give you great access to nice roads, spawn points, and other business locations. Now, after that, let's dive into customizing the nightclubs. No matter what nightclub you choose, you're going to have all the same options on the inside. The first is nightclub style. The first is a very simplistic one. It is a concrete-like design. It doesn't cost you any money. In my opinion, this is the worst looking design, and it's probably why it's free. The next design after that is sort of a in the middle design. You're getting like these modern blue tones. That is $225,000. I think it looks nice, but it certainly doesn't look as posh as I'd like. And then you have the third one, which is the most expensive, kind of the most luxurious in this pink and gold pattern, and it is $300,000. So that's the one that I like the most. Again, they are just cosmetic changes, but I had the money and I wanted to make my nightclub look nice. So that's the one I ultimately went for. Now, after you choose your nightclub style, you have the option of 4 different light rigs. And this is pretty cool because it'll actually allow you to play sort of a preview video. So in case you have no idea what that looks like, you can take in a little bit of an idea before you buy them. So this is going to cost you money no matter which one you choose. The first one is called Cathedral. In fact, I think all these look awesome. So I think the price tag is just kind of subjective here. The next most expensive one is Lightning Storm. This one's really cool too. It's kind of like a strobe effect, which I think is awesome. The third one and the second most expensive is called Surge. This one is really cool too. Kind of gives you that rhythm pulse feel, like power lines going all over the club. It kind of looks awesome. And then the one that I chose, just happened to be the most expensive, was actually called Dazzle. This is like little laser light beams all over the place, and that was $295,000. Again, all of these are just cosmetic change. They don't actually do anything. Third thing, probably the one I'm most disappointed with, is the nightclub name. You do not get to choose your nightclub name. Instead, you have to choose between 9 different presets: Omega, Gefenegus, Paradise, Studio Los Santos, Masonette Los Santos, The Palace, Galaxy, Technology, and Tony's Funhouse. So those are your 9 different options right there. The one thing I think is pretty cool about this is throughout a lot of the cutscenes and dialogue you hear, you'll actually refer to the characters talking about your nightclub with a specific name. And obviously they couldn't do that if you could name it whatever you want. So a little bit of pro, a little bit of con there. It would have been awesome if you could have named your nightclub, but at least it works a little bit better with the cutscenes and whatnot. After that, we have storage. Now, there's 2 different types of storage: vehicle storage in the form of garage floors, and then storage for your cargo, your business stuff. Now, I'm going to be talking about the business stuff in another video. It might be tomorrow, but they start you out with 1 floor for the cars and for the storage stuff. At a minimum, I would recommend getting 1 extra floor of each, especially for the car stuff, considering that first floor only allows you to store 3 vehicles. And if you utilize those correctly, they should be for your delivery vehicles. So I would get 1 extra floor. If you want all 3, you can get 33 total cars in the nightclub. But I would just start with 1. You can always add more. You can't take away. If you feel like you need more, just add them. But just be careful about that. After that, it's dancers. So dancers have 3 different styles. Underground, you have a transgressive style, and then you have a grandier style, and you get to choose between either girl, boy, or boy, as far as the dancers go. Again, lots of different options right there as far as the people you want to see, like on the elevated platforms. And the last one is dry ice, which I have not actually seen used yet, but apparently the DJ will use this at random during key moments during your DJ set. So lots of nice customization options right there for your nightclub. Some things that are practical, like the storage. Some things that are just totally for fun, like the dancers and the dry ice. So that's just something you're going to have to consider when you actually buy the nightclub itself. Now, when you guys buy the nightclub for the first time, it is not going to look like mine. There are 2 setup missions, one for the staff, one for the equipment. Again, we're not going to go into the business side of stuff in this update, but once you complete that, your nightclub will be fully unlocked for you, and you will have all of its potential ready for you to rock and roll. Now, there's a couple of other features that are not included on the website that you can actually get in the nightclub. A lot of them have to do with your office, including the ability to have a money safe, a gun locker, as well as a place to change your clothes. All of those are included for free. There's no accommodation area. You can spawn inside of your nightclub without having to pay for an extra upgrade. So that right there is actually quite nice. There's also a ton of other features scattered throughout the nightclub as well. There's probably about 13 different locations in which you can get a drink. I stated in the trailer that it seemed like there was, so many different spots in which you could do something like that, and it turns out that that's true. You really can spend like 13 different locations getting a drink, which is kind of funny. So there are a lot of things that you don't actually end up paying for that you can take advantage of in these nightclubs. But at the end of the day, there's basically 2 parts. There's the main nightclub, and then there's the business side of it. And they are pretty separated quite nicely. You'll kind of tell, like, when you're in the business side, you can sprint. When you're in the nightclub side, you can't. So Rockstar did a really good job of separating those. And I think that the nightclubs overall are going to be incredibly valuable. But that right there is my answer to which one I think is the best. You guys have my opinion based off of, everything that I've laid out. But really, at the end of the day, it's all subjective. I mean, your reasons might be different than mine. You might like the Elysian Island one because you like going out on boats more than other players, and that would be a perfectly valid reason to get that because it's closest to the water. Or you might like one that's in the direct middle of the city because you want to be as close to your CEO office as possible. There's a lot of different things to consider here, but I've given you guys my reasons, and I think a lot of those are valid for the majority of online players. So that right there, in my opinion, are the best nightclub locations, and of course all the features that go along with buying one and which ones are ultimately pretty important. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Which nightclub location do you think is best? I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care. And I'll see you guys in the next video.